So today we're going to be solving systems of inequalities by graphing. It's the exact same process as solving systems of equations, what we did yesterday by graphing, except now we got inequality signs. So if we look at this example 1, it's already in y equals mx plus b format. So all I have to do is label my b, my slope, and then figure out what type of line and where I need to shade from that point. So if we look at this purple inequality, my b value is 0, 3. That's where I'm going to start. That's my y-intercept. Remember, the x value for the ordered pair for your b value is always going to be 0. And then the b value at the end, which in this case is 3, is going to be my y value. So that tells me I need to go up to, on my y-axis, to where 3 is and put my dot. Okay? From that point, I then need to figure out my slope. So my slope is always the number in front of the variable. So in this case, it's negative 2 over 3. So with negatives, you need to go up 2 and then to the left 3, or you can go down 2 and to the right 3. So I'm going to do both. So I'm going to go up 2 and to the left 3 and put a dot, up 2 to the left 3 and put a dot, up 2 and to the left 3 and put a dot. And that's going to end up giving me that way. I can also go down 2 and to the left 3 and put a dot. Down 2 and to the left 3 and put a dot. Down 2 and to the left 3 and put a dot. Okay? Now, I also need to take a look at the inequality. Because it says y is greater than or equal to, there's a line underneath that inequality that tells me that it's going to be a solid line. Which, as you can tell, I've already done this to kind of save some time. It's already a solid line. Because the inequality, the nose of it is pointing away from the y value, that tells me I'm going to shade above. Anytime it's pointed away, I'm going to shade above. Anytime it's pointed to the y, I'm going to shade below. Okay? So every one of these dots that I've had, I'm now just going to draw a small arrow pointing up, telling me which way that I need to shade to figure out where my solution area is. So that's for the purple inequality. If I take a look at the green one, okay, my y-intercept is 0, negative 2. So I need to go to negative 2 on my y-axis and put a dot. Okay? Then my slope, because it's positive, I can go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 5. I can also, from the b value, go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 5. Down 4, and to the left 5. After I've got my points, then I need to figure out what type of line it's going to be. Because it says y is less than, it doesn't have a line underneath it, that tells me it's going to be a dashed line. So I kind of save time by going ahead and putting a dashed line on there. But if it doesn't have a line underneath the inequality, it's going to be dashed. Okay? Because the inequality is pointing toward the y, that's going to tell me I need to shade below the dots that I end up plotting on my line. So every one of these dots that I end up happening on my line, I'm going to end up drawing an arrow down because it said below. So now I need to take a look at the overall picture to figure out where my highlighted area is going to be, where both those arrows for both the inequalities are going to meet or be in the same area. So it's going to end up being this little triangle area right here because it's below the green line and it's above the purple line. It has to meet both of those criteria. Below the green and above the purple. So that's the only area that does meet the criteria. Any ordered pair within that shaded area is a solution to that system of inequalities. If we look at example 2 here, okay, I went ahead to save some time by going ahead and putting it in y equals mx plus b format. I'll just talk you through that process. Because I want to solve for y, I put a box around y, the number that's attached to it, and if it has a sign. So that's why you see a box around negative 2y. And then I draw a line straight down the inequality. What that reminds me is if I do something on the left side of that line, I have to do it to the other side as well. So what's on the same side is this negative 2y that needs to be moved that's not in the box, is that x. So the opposite of a positive x is a negative x, so that's why I subtracted that on both sides. When I do that, I bring down what's in my box, which is negative 2y, and then I keep that greater than sign, and then because I can't combine negative x and 8, I just write it out like it looks. X always comes first. So negative x, and it's a positive 8, so plus 8. My last step, in order to get rid of that negative 2 in front of the y, right now negative 2 is being multiplied by y. The inverse of that is division. So I divide by negative 2 on both sides. When I do that, anytime you divide by a negative with inequalities, you have to flip the sign. So as you can tell, that inequality was pointing to the right. Now it's pointing to the left because I divided by a negative number. When I do negative x divided by negative 2, two negatives give me a positive. I can rewrite x over 2 as 1 over 2x. Okay? When I do 8 divided by negative 2, I get a negative 4. So that takes care of my inequality, and now I've got it in y equals mx plus b format. So I have to now move over to the green inequality and do the same thing. So I put a box around my y, the 2, and the plus sign because all of that is attached. I move the 3x to the other side. The opposite of a positive 3x is a negative 3x, so I subtract it. So when I do that, I bring down the 2y, bring down the inequality. Because you can't combine negative 3x and 8, I left it as negative 3x plus 8. The last step, because 2 is being multiplied by y, I have to do the inverse, so divide by 2 on both sides. Because I didn't divide by a negative, notice the sign did not change, so that inequality is kept the way that it was facing. When I do negative 3 divided by 2, I'm going to leave that as a fraction because for slope, with graphing, we want to leave it as a fraction so that we can know how much we're going up and down and left and right. So negative 3 over 2x, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now that I've done that, if I go down here and take a look at the inequalities in general, I went ahead and labeled my b value for my purple inequality. So y is less than 1/2 x minus 4. So when I did that, y is less than 1/2 x minus 4. Okay, my b value is at 0, negative 4 at the end. My m, my slope, which is the number in front of the x, is 1/2. Okay, because there's no line underneath the inequality, it's going to be a dashed line. And because that inequality is facing or pointing toward the y, we're going to shade below. So as you can tell, after I graphed, we started at 0, negative 4, and put a dot, and then I went up 1 and to the right 2 and put my next dot and did that all the way across. So that's why that purple dashed line looks like that when I graphed it. Okay? And because it is shaded below each one of those dots that I graphed, I now have an arrow pointing down telling me which way I need to shade. If I look at the green inequality, y is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 4, my b value is 0, 4, my y-intercept, and then my slope is negative 3 over 2, which is always the number in front of the variable. Okay? Because the inequality has a line underneath that's going to be a solid line, and because that inequality is pointing toward the y, we're going to shade below. So after, as you can tell, I started at 0, 4, or 4 on my y-axis, and then went down 3 and to the right 2, down 3 and to the right 2. I also, after I went as far as I could go that way, then I started at my y-axis again at 0, 4, and then went up 3 and to the left 2, and went as far as I could that way. And it's a solid line, as you can tell. Because we're shading below, that's where my arrow is going for each one of those dots. And you can tell the shaded solution, this blue area right here, is where both those arrows are both going down at the same time. So it has to be below the purple dash line and also below the green, which is the only area that meets that as that blue area, that blue triangle that we have at the bottom right. Okay. And any ordered pair within that shaded blue area is a solution to those inequalities up there. Okay? Example 3. It's already in y equals mx plus b format, but I wanted to show the kids this because the green inequality is a little different. But for the purple one, my b value is 0, 5. Okay. My slope is -4, but I have to have a number on the bottom, so it is a 1. Okay. When I look at y as less than or equal to, okay, because it has a line underneath, that tells me it's going to be a solid line. And because it's pointing toward the y, I'm going to shade below. Okay, so at 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, positive 5 on my y-axis, I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. Down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. I can also start at my b value again and then go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1. Okay? I know that it's going to be a solid line at those points. So when I do that, I'm going to make sure it's purple because try to color coordinate things to the best of my capabilities. Okay? So that takes care of that, but now I've got to figure out which way I need to shade at this point. And because it says shade below at each one of these dots, I'm just going to draw a down arrow because that means it's going to be below those dots. Okay? Now, x is less than or equal to -2. Because it's x in just a number, I need to go over on my x-axis to where -2 is, and it's right there. Okay? My slope is going to be undefined anytime it's x equals a number, okay, and it's going to be a vertical line. And because the x is less than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So it's going to be a solid line right there at x equals -2. And because it says it has to be less than -2, x is less than -2. All the numbers that are less than -2 on the x-axis are on the left side. The easiest way to remember that, anytime it's x and just a number, whichever way that arrow is pointing is telling you which way to shade if the x value is on the left side. So that is going to end up being where I need to shade as far as that inequality. Now I need to take a look at the overall solution, the shaded area. Okay, so this purple inequality extends on forever in this direction. So the only time, or the shaded area, that's going to end up being the solution is going to be this area right here, because that's the only time it's going to be below the purple line and to the left of the green line. If you look at the other areas that are white, none of those meet the criteria except for this area right here. So I know this one is a little bit more complicated because our line doesn't extend on forever. We can't continue to go up, but because it's going to be below the purple and to the left of the green, that whole shaded area right there is going to end up being where my solution is. So any ordered pair within that area is going to be my answer. So hopefully this helps with solving systems of inequalities by graphing just visually and me kind of talking you through the process. So hopefully the kids can look back at this and kind of figure out with their homework or preparing for a test or quiz kind of what we do from there. Thank you.